we're going to talk about a guy that we think might have to join all these coaches in Cancun if he screws up this weekend, and that is Mr. Sean McDermott. Anthony, you have been saying for a while now that you don't see the hype around this guy. You don't see why he never gets the finger pointed at him. He never gets any blame, and yet everybody holds him in these high praises. If he goes out here and he loses at home to the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mason Rudolph, do you think it's time that we seriously start talking about Sean McDermott and the Bills moving on from him?
Absolutely. It's just strange. Like, they always need to have this kind of scapegoat guy, and it's never going to be Josh Allen. It's never going to be Sean McDermott. But at a certain point, if you continue to take steps back and back every year, as we have seen from the other coaches that have been fired today, that's not a reason for you to keep your job. Like, I just don't understand. Like, the defense this year, after he's taken over defensive coordinator responsibilities, if anything, has looked worse and worse every week, where it's like they're letting teams just walk all over them in the passing game, in the rushing game, where now you have to have Josh Allen completing 30 freaking passes a game in order for you to keep it close. It's just not a winning recipe over there, and we've known it the entire year. Josh Allen's going to be the first one to tell you. After that game, he's like, this has been our season so far. It's sloppy. It's not good, but we find a way somehow at the end of 60 minutes to be on the winning side. It's going to take more from that in the playoffs. It's going to take more from that from a Steelers team. And at a certain point, you got to scrap it and restart it, because it just ain't working right now. And it has to get to a point where you start pointing that finger at your head coach.
Anthony, I can't argue with that statement, man. I agree with you. I think that this whole year, every time something went bad, we pointed at Josh Allen. We pointed at Josh Allen's girlfriend problems. We pointed at their run game. Oh, it's on James Cook now. Oh, and it's like, what? When's it going to be on this guy? He's the guy. Like, what are you talking about? I just think overall, I don't see McDermott taking steps forward. 2 years back, I really liked him as the head coach of the Bills. And the last 2 years, last 18 months, I just haven't really been a fan of his. And I think this year he's exposed himself. Like you mentioned, the defense got worse. He had some bad comments and brought bad press on the team. Him and Josh Allen a couple times seemed like they just were not getting along very well on the sideline. I just don't really get the Sean McDermott thing. If they lose this football game to the Pittsburgh Steelers, which they're going to, if they lose this football game, I think that there's no way that they don't fire him. And I get that people are probably going to comment on this, and they're going to say, well, why would you fire a guy that's been bringing your team to the playoffs? And first of all, they shouldn't even be in the playoffs. Okay. So good for them. But you know what? You want to go ahead and point the finger at Josh Allen when they suck, then point the finger at Josh Allen when they win, because he's the reason why they're winning. Point the finger at James Cook. That dude put the team on his back for about 3 weeks in a row. Okay. Sean McDermott, to me, is not the reason that this team is finding success in the second half of the season, but I do think there's a chance he makes a bad play call or does something stupid in the game and costs them this game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. If they lose this game, I don't see how we don't wake up on Monday morning and he's not gone, Anthony. To me, if you lose this one, and look, this is my Pittsburgh Steelers, okay? I feel a certain way about that. Sean, get out of here. Go prepare for the game. God knows you need it. Anthony, I just feel like you can't lose this football game. I mean, you're the biggest favorite of the week, right? If you lose this one, do you see that fan base saying enough?